It's 6:07 on Tuesday, January the 18th, 2022, and I hereby call this regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council to order. Could you please bow your heads for invocation by Councilman Finley?
Dear Lord, thank you for letting us gather here this evening. Please bless us with the knowledge to make decisions to make this a better Diamondhead. Lord, especially we want to ask that we, as you have always done, continue to look over our community, but we have members of the council, Chuck Clark and Ricky are also needing blessings and fighting this terrible thing. Just take a little extra special time, everyone, and keep Chuck in your prayers. And dear Lord, again, thank you for looking over us. We appreciate everything you do for us each day. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. One second, City Clerk.
Mayor DePrio.
Here.
Councilmember Finley.
Here.
Councilmember Orion. Councilmember Shepherd. Here. Councilmember Clark. Councilmember Moore.
Here.
Could I get a motion to confirm or adjust the agenda?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley to confirm. Could I get a second?
Second.
And all our motions are going to have to be roll call tonight since we have one of our council members on the phone. City Clerk, Ms. Jeannie Klein.
Finley.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Presentation agenda. First up, we have the Gulf Regional Commissioner, Kenneth Yarrow, Executive Director, up to tell us what's going on at Gulf Regional. Welcome, Kevin, to Diamondhead. We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for this opportunity. I want to get you a little bit more familiar with our agency, Gulf Regional Planning Commission. We serve as a metropolitan planning organization on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Now, we're an urbanized area on the Gulf Coast, so every urbanized area in the country has an MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization, that provides transportation planning activities and also directs transportation funding to different things. You know, we provide different types of planning, with congestion management, bicycle pedestrian planning. We do a lot of transit planning. And from that planning, we identify transportation projects and we develop transportation projects. And that planning also provides us with a way to evaluate transportation projects. So one of the major functions of our effort is to allocate funding to construction projects. You know, every couple of years we accept applications from each city, each county, on transportation projects that they'd like to see done. And our planning provides us with a mechanism to evaluate those things and see how they measure up to our goals and objectives. I did pass this out, and it kind of summarizes a lot of our activities. So every couple of years, we actually allocate funds to construction projects, and we're in the midst of that right now. We've kicked off a call for projects, and we're going to allocate about $12 million to different projects along the Gulf Coast. Now, we serve all the way from Moss Point to Waveland, so we serve 15 jurisdictions. So we have a limited amount of money. That's why we got to evaluate these projects and score them and prioritize them, just see how they measure up to different goals and objectives that we've established. Now, when we make those decisions as a staff, we bring them to our board, and our board consists of a member, a person from each city and each county in the region, and they vote on the recommendations, and then money is actually allocated to those construction projects. And Mike, I don't know, we've done a few construction projects here. The I-10 lighting project,
Yes.
that came through us. And there's some Aloha improvements, I believe. I don't know them all, but studies. When we identify these projects, either we identify projects or the city identifies projects, say, hey, we need to develop this idea a little further. We can provide study money. We can provide study analysis money. So we say, hey, yeah, we can provide 80% of this study funds to do whatever it is you're talking about doing to develop these projects, get them a little bit more ready for construction, either with our funds or construction with some kind of federal grant, some kind of raised grant. You know, they like to see these projects a little bit further down the road, more than just a concept, and we can help with that. So hopefully this will help out. If I missed anything, if y'all have any questions, let me give you my card, and I'm always available to answer anything y'all need help with. One of the things that we do, I think, well, is we serve as a liaison between the cities and Mdot.
Thank you.
You know, we can help. We can help with any kind of problems y'all might be having, obstacles with Mdot. So we serve as a pretty good liaison for that, for in that capacity. If anybody has any questions, that's all.
Kenneth, what are some of the other things that y'all do, just besides MDOT money and distributing those federal funds, such as, traffic studies,
Yeah, we
to
do the
intersection
traffic
studies?
We can provide in-house traffic studies. We can provide, if you just got a intersection to look at, we can do that for you. Now we use consultants, but if you got some kind of big, like this next study y'all are going to look at, that money was provided by the NPO. So we do a traffic counting program. We provide all the traffic counting services for Mdot, and so along with that, we can do special counts. If y'all need to have something looked at on whatever road it might be, we can always do a special account for you out there at no cost. Turning movement counts, speed studies. If you see a speed problem out there, we can do a speed study and kind of say, hey, look, you probably have a speeding problem, or maybe you don't. It was just a couple guys out there, going real fast. So we do things like that with our traffic counting program.
Do you do anything with weights on roads, like, how much weight a road can bear?
We don't. Mdot takes a lot of freight counts, but we don't do that for them. They have that done themselves, truck counts.
Well, that's interesting to know because we need both of those.
Yeah.
Both of those studies done. And we can't thank you all enough for helping us with the lighting.
Yeah.
That's an excellent project,
It is.
and it greatly enhanced our exit. We now are very visible on I-10.
It's a good project.
And your website's phenomenal, a lot of information on it,
Good. Thank you. I'm glad you found it useful.
very useful.
All
Well,
right.
thank you very
y'all.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you, Kenneth.
just to let y'all know, that's a meeting I go to at least once a month, sometimes more, depending on what board meeting or what topic they're having. But I represent the city on that kind of that board. So
Nice.
Mike's a good asset for us.
Thank you. And thank you,
Thank you,
Mike,
Kenneth.
for making a good
And
presence.
Kenneth
for the
was
city of
recently
Diamondhead.
hired. He's been with the organization for about 20 years, and the board just hired him as executive director probably now about 60 days ago. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Look forward to working with you in the very near future. Thank you. Next, we have Oliver Siebel with Orion Planning, and he is here tonight. Excuse me? He is here tonight to talk about the wayfinding, navigation, and implementation of the master plan, something we're very excited about. And if you want to add something about the multimodal lane, please feel free to chime in on that, because we're waiting very patiently.
Okay.
Welcome, Oliver.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. I am Oliver Siebel. Some of you may have seen my face before over the past year or two. I worked on the comprehensive plan for Diamondhead, Envision Diamondhead 2040, and have been involved in several other projects around that are ongoing and may not have been present here, but have been behind the scenes. But I'd like to thank Mike and Kenneth for this opportunity to be a part of this exciting project that we're going to talk about, which is the Wayfinding Master Plan. I'm going to be the project manager for this. This is kind of one of my specialties that I've done a lot of these things. But you can see my partners up on the screen, and a few of them will be here for some of the public outreach events that we'll be having. But I'm out of St. Simon's Island, and I am definitely no stranger to the Mississippi coast. I've got 2 projects in Pascagoula right now and working in Waveland, and then, of course, projects here in Diamondhead. Next slide. So many people may just wonder, what exactly is wayfinding? It's not necessarily a common term, but you can probably guess what it is. But wayfinding's basically, it's a system that encompasses all the way in which people orient themselves in a space or outside or wherever they are, and it's how they navigate from place to place. So a perfect example of not necessarily exciting wayfinding, but would be directional signs on the highway that point you to get off a ramp or whatever. But this project's going to be more about a joint project of providing a navigable way to move around your city, but also to enhance your city's brand. So we're going to be looking at, the brand of the city, what is recognizable, and how do we basically spread that all over the city so as visitors come, they recognize who, that they are in Diamondhead. And some people may say, well, I've got a smartphone, I don't really need signs, but wayfinding is more than just signs. There's all different types, and this is a great opportunity to brand the city of Diamondhead so that everyone knows, they've been to a special place. This is just a little couple cartoons, or a cartoon. I know wayfinding may not be that exciting to some, but but anyway, if you've been anywhere as a visitor, and it really is helpful if you've been to a city that has a wayfinding system in place. It can be very beneficial, and it's helpful to both pedestrians, bicyclists, motorists, and also golf carts, which I know is going to be a key issue here in Diamondhead. Typically, a wayfinding system it's what we call a family of wayfinding elements, and those can be anything from signage, maps, they could be monuments, painted markings, symbols, and web applications. I like to think of wayfinding as kind of a logistical approach to navigating some of the world's challenges today. If you could see some of these signs, but these are actual signs that we've come across. And of course, with everything, there's, too much of one thing can be bad. Wayfinding doesn't have to be boring. It can be whimsical, but the important part is it needs to be direct, and there shouldn't be any question as to what the sign is trying to convey. It can be simple, such as this blue sign here. This is just what we call a mile marker, and this is on the Razorback Greenway in northwest Arkansas. The bottom picture, those are a set of steps, but painted on the steps are actually the businesses or the things located on the levels of the building. There's a web app above that some cities opt for a web-based application. And then the graphic on the right, I know it's hard for the audience to see, but wayfinding can be everywhere. It could be on the back of a bus stop. It can be painted on the ground. It can be etched in concrete. It can be signs. It can be on light posts. It's not just about signs. I tend to classify the wayfinding elements into 5 different categories, and it's kind of these are loosely based on the principle in which the element, how it functions. So you have landmarks or identification type wayfinding elements. You have directional elements that, navigate, provide navigation, orientation, regulatory signs, and then there's also an informational category. Now, just because a sign falls into one category or the other, there's many elements that actually provide multiple types of information, such as a location or an identity, directions, rules and regulations, geographical orientation, and just a recognition of the community's identity. The first typology I'd like to just kind of go over really quick is the landmark or the identification marker. This is just an example of a simple monument, but as someone driving down the street, it provides an information as to this is a place, and it tells you exactly what it is. Doesn't really have much more information than that, but this is what we'd call an identification marker. Here's 2 examples of landmark just in your community. You've got the Diamondhead symbol on the left, and then the monument water feature. Those would be considered landmark or identification elements. Directional. Now, in this example, or 2 examples, these are just signs, but they're geared more towards the pedestrian. They're pedestrian scaled, meaning in size, but they provide directions to different activities or places around the community. This is a second group of directional signs, but these are examples of how these are for bicyclists and paths, and then on the right you also see a bike lane, but signage or wayfinding element is actually just painted on the ground, so doesn't have to be vertical elements. Here's another example of just different color schemes, and one that has the wayfinding element up on a light post, so it uses existing infrastructure. This is the orientation category. You can kind of think of these as more like maps. They provide you with you are here, and show you, a overview of the places that you need to go. Regulatory signage, you can think of these as providing rules, I guess. But also, they can also provide some direction, such as, parking down the street, or no parking, no carts, that type of thing. But they don't have to be, they don't have to be standard signs. They can be a way and an opportunity to further brand your community. The last type is the informational. You can kind of think of these as interpretive signs. They tell a story. Like if you go to a nature center or something, it provides a little background about the place you're in or the city, and that's what I'd call an informational sign. Now let's talk about the master plan, which is we're going to take all these different elements and we're going to develop a family of wayfinding elements that is catered towards Diamondhead. This is a project I did in Corolla Village, North Carolina. So you can see there's all these different types of signs, but as they are placed around the community, people start to recognize the brand. They start looking for these, and it's a very subtle way to brand your community and show that you care about the visitors. Just real quick, these are just some of the initial objectives. We're basically to support tourism, to create a navigational system citywide, and basically reinforce the city's brand and create the brand, provide a safe navigation throughout the community, and also to kind of tell the story of Diamondhead. We've got 6 tasks that are included in this project. The first task is going to be the initiation phase. And this is when we're going to do some background research, and we'll have a couple online meetings with staff, and we're going to develop a project website. This is just an example of a project website, but we're going to use the website as a means for online outreach. So if people can't make meetings, or if they'd like to express opinion, they'll have the opportunity to do so. The second task is going to be the kind of a inventory analysis phase. We're going to have 3 to 4 members here on the ground for the better part of a week. And we're going to be evaluating kind of the existing conditions of the city, looking at, where some of the needs for potential wayfinding elements. And we're going to conduct 2 evening sessions where people can come and give input on what places need wayfinding, or where do people need help getting to. And then also we'll have 3 windows of time during the day to where people can drop in and give us some of their opinions as well. These images are from when we did Envision Diamondhead, and I just threw this up as a joke. As in doing our field work, we got stuck out in the power lines there. So, but we'll try to keep everything to the streets this time. Our third task we're going to be working on developing, based upon community input and city input, up to 4 different families or concepts, and this is just an example of 2 different concept families, and we'll be trying to narrow that down to 1, and that'll ultimately become the wayfinding system. Also part of this task, like I said, we're going to be using the community to provide input, but also not only on what kind of wayfinding elements in their look, but also where they need to go. So this is just a drone shot I took, and just, at first glance, some of those corners might be prime for someone getting off the highway. Task 4, we're going to be, once a family of wayfinding elements, a certain look has been chosen, then we're going to move into the development of how are these things constructed. This is an example, one I did in Birmingham, and this was a trail marker for a trail system. There's quite a bit of detail, so we are going to provide the construction methods in which these things get done. And not only the construction method, we also have to specify, when you get down all the way to the details of the typeface, how big are the letters, where are the arrows pointing to, what is the mileage. So there's quite a bit of detail on some of the signs that has to be done before these things can be bid out. Also, part of Task 4, we're going to finalize all the different locations and preferred, I guess you call them routes, that are to be identified. Task 5, we're going to come back and we're going to do a one-day session to where, once we kind of have a draft of the master plan, in which people can review it and then provide some input, and then we'll also post it on the city's website and also the project website. And then there'll be a short period of public comment, and this session will allow us to make sure the community has buy-in and everyone's happy with what we're trying to do. And then the last last step is we'll come back before council and present a final product, and hopefully we can adopt this master plan. And next steps, after we're done, we will have developed a community-driven master plan. We'll have designed a comprehensive wayfinding system, so then the community will, we'll look for more funding to actually construct these and implement them. And then, last step, pat yourselves on the back. This is just an example of, this was the brand from the 70s, and the marker on the right is the monument that we've been working on as the potential gateway sign to Diamondhead. And that concludes my presentation, but happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions to my left? Right? I just want to add, this is perfect timing. Now we have exit 16 about to crank up. We hope it's happening this year. The new business district coming on board, our new waterfront development, Noma Drive, and the revitalization of our existing district is perfect time to have our signs work. And did you ever look at our signs, our street signs that we had back in the beginning? They were made out of wood, painted green, and they had the street names on.
I haven't seen those.
We were very unique.
Wow.
So I want to say they were removed in 2014.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
I'll have to
It
look
was a
at those.
very unique branding that we had. So we know how important that is to keep
Yeah.
that going, and we're excited.
Great.
So our
Well-
next step, what is the timeline?
Well, we are waiting, we're just going through some approvals with Mdot, and is that?
Yeah, we've got to jump through the Mdot hoops
Yeah.
with Kenneth, because GRPC is funding this project.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll kick off and have them start meeting with us.
Yeah.
Overall, timeline for completion,
I think we said, I think it was 4 to 6 months, something like that. 4 to 6 months.
That's good timing, because that'll correlate with what we got going on. Excellent.
Well, thank y'all.
Thank you, Oliver.
Here.
Next, we have Colby with Pickering Engineering here to talk about Makiki Drainage update. We're excited to hear this. We've been waiting for this, Colby. Not to put the pressure on you.
All right, no
When is it
problem.
advertised? I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Makiki Drainage. Where's this project? So it's between Makiki and Lola, really, kind of where Amoka Drive and Lola Drive hit. Is it Lola Cut through there?
Mm-hmm.
Going towards Makiki and Rotten Bayou, basically. So the entire sub-basin that we studied for this project was 11 and a quarter acres almost, and that's separated on that slide go up one into ditches 1, 2, 3, and 4. So ditch 1 is coming from Lola, which is 11.34 acres, and then the second ditch, the second area is 2.2 acres, and that's the one that was really presenting the problems for those houses that were flooding.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third subbasin is 1.68 acres, and that's the ditch that flows along Makiki on the south side, and then the fourth area would be on the other side of Makiki, flowing into that outfall going towards Rotten Bayou. So that's where the project is, and why are we doing this project? Last year, Diamondhead had a historic amount of rain, including hurricanes Data, Zelta, Ida, along with an EF1 tornado, storm surge, and some other pretty intense rains that led to some just large drainage intensities that y'all had to deal with. This rain led to some flooding, water intrusion into homes along Makiki during intense rain events. These rain events have also led to erosion, pretty heavy erosion along the outfall. at Makiki. So, and I know this wasn't the only place, but this is one that we decided to address. So Pickering studied these areas to determine what are the best thing that we could do. So I think we put on here on these slides, whenever we talked in April, how we were discussing the problems and some possible solutions. The 5-foot drop-off on that sub-basin 2 between Makiki and Lola, the 2 properties that were holding water and some intrusion in the house, looking at possibly digging a ditch between those properties on Makiki and Lola. And then the current catch basin that they have, where it all flows across Makiki, it's really a metal screen, and it gets clogged up every time it rains. Leaves and branches and stuff just flow into it and pretty much clog it up to where the other drainage is that reinforced arch pipe that is really taking it all. So everything's backing up on that ditch. So we looked at possibly removing that, and then discussed the erosion in the house across from Makiki, on the north side of Makiki, going right and Bayou, and just do a study and look at the solutions to take care of these problems. So what are the solutions that we could do for this? We'll go from upstream to downstream. And so first of all, we looked at adding a ditch, swells behind the homes to capture and route the water of drainage area to the ditch that goes through Makiki. And then reshape and regrade the existing ditch to increase its capacity. And then also to revive the inlet and pipe configuration to accommodate incoming flow southeast of Makiki. And increase the pipe sizes to provide capacity across Makiki, and then add a head wall to stabilize the actual roadway, Makiki, so it doesn't fall into the ditch. I see it's been patched up time and time again in the past. And then we're going to reshape and regrade the existing downstream going to Rotten Bayou. So that's kind of what we looked at, sizing it all, with actually the 100-year storm that is now required from Diamondhead. So I think we went through all that. Yeah, that's the catch basin that's always clogged up right there. You can go through all those.
He and I are dear friends.
And then, so what is the project going to cost? We did the conservative estimate, and looks like it's going to run around $210,973, and that's an estimate. We kind of were conservative, and we bumped it up twice, I think. So hopefully it'll come in less than that. But these days, construction prices are all over the place. So. And currently, the status of the project is the design is complete. The stormwater pollution plan is in progress. Really, it's almost finished. We're kind of holding off, waiting on the environmental permitting to bid the project for construction. You can start going down those. Yeah.
Have we submitted the environmental permit?
Yes, it's been received, and we're currently having a discussion right now.
Mm-hmm.
They asked a few questions that we're going to provide answers to, I think, next week. And hopefully that'll run it through. We're on their 90-day timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So we estimated 45 days, but hopefully we'll get it through quicker than that. I can't guarantee you that, because they, just...
Mm-hmm. Yes, we know.
We're gonna keep pushing on them. So, and then the estimated time for bid is advertising, letting the contractors think about it. Then we're gonna receive the bids, recommend a bidder, and issue a notice to proceed. So we gave 30 days for that, and the estimated time for construction was 90 days.
Okay.
And really, the clearing and grubbing and cleaning out the ditches is not the big thing, but there was an 18-inch gravity sewer running along Makiki, and so we're gonna have to put a conflict box in there, and that's gonna take some time to have that double barrel 42-inch pipes running across there with a conflict box and then continuing it with a head wall. So we add a little extra time for that. So, any questions?
I think it sounds like an excellent plan. So this all originated with homes flooding on Makiki, in case anyone is wondering why we have Makiki on here. We had a few homes that were getting water in them on Makiki. There was a 5-foot grade elevation on Makiki. Water was running to the back of these homes, and there was no ditch behind the homes to receive the water. They were catching all the water on Makiki. So the plan you've presented is to put a ditch in behind the homes, and Public Works has been working as well, trying to relieve it when the rain was coming heavily. Redo the ditch coming down the side, then you'll see, and if you go to Makiki, you see where the big drainage outfall ditch is. It's next to the Robinson's house. I'm not sure if y'all know them or not, but this is the big drainage ditch that you're gonna work to improve. Major outfall for drainage area 1. A lot of drainage is going to that ditch. And right across the street is a catch basin with side inlets that tend to clog up daily. They get leaves in them, debris, so the water can't get out, causing the water then to back up. So you're replacing that existing inlet with the side inlets, double barreling under Makiki Court and discharging out with a new head wall into the new ditch that you're gonna fix and straighten and make look nice. All of that was in there to make that ditch improved and do a little bit of erosion control on the banks.
Correct. And that's the main problem was in between Makiki and Lola.
Mhm.
The water was going there, but there's trees and roots, and there was no drainage, positive drainage over that landmass. And if you clean it out a little bit, there's just roots. I mean, you had to probably cut through roots more than you had to dig dirt in that area. So we're gonna make that a ditch to receive the water, but then we're increasing the flow going to Makiki. So we're gonna size everything from here to receive the new water coming from our new proposed ditch, and then just make sure we take it out smoothly until we get to Rotten Bayou. So, and this
Excellent.
project doesn't continue to Rotten Bayou, but it gets it to that floodplain.
Mhm. It gets it out where it needs to be going.
Right.
Any questions to my right?
I
And Councilman Finley, this is your ward. And this is much needed.
I actually have a question because I saw that whole thing, and it looks like tremendous amount of waters when there's heavy rains will be flowing down there to Rotten Bayou. What's to prevent the actual final ditch that's going out to Rotten Bayou from eroding rather quickly with storms like Zeta and stuff like that and filling in again?
Right. We're putting 300-pound riprap for I think it's about 100-foot length, and then we're stabilizing the banks beyond that to tie it back in. And I know one of the owners had a problem with his driveway eroding, and so we're going to kind of bring that back up and stabilize it.
Okay. I just said, man, there's a lot of water coming in there. So,
Thank you, Colby. I think we have it. Looks like an excellent plan.
Mayor, our council, tonight's presentation, the intent is, once that permit comes, is to get this in front of y'all with authorization to bid.
We're ready. They need it. These residents need relief. They're flooding. Thank you.
And we're pushing on them as much as we can.
Please
But we
do.
are having a conversation with them right now, which is good. So as soon as we get those answers back to them, hopefully that conversation will continue, and it shouldn't be much more after that. So,
Thank you, Colby. And thank you for working hard to keep them engaged.
okay. Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next, we have a proclamation in memory of Miss Mary Ellen. And if you've been at City Hall any time since 2012, you ran into Miss Mary Ellen. And we're deeply saddened by the loss of Miss Mary Ellen. So tonight we have a proclamation honoring Miss Mary. And I'm going to read it to you all. Proclamation in honor and memory of Miss Mary Allen, April 25th, 1930 to November 13th, 2021. Whereas on November 13th, 2021, our Heavenly Father called to rest Miss Mary Allen. And whereas the mayor and the city council of the city of Diamondhead wish to pay tribute to the late Mary Ellen. And whereas Miss Mary Ellen was a longtime resident of the city of Diamondhead. And whereas Mary Ellen volunteered numerous hours at the city of Diamondhead, made significant positive contributions, and was a positive force in the Diamondhead community. And whereas Miss Mary Ellen demonstrated daily the duties of civic responsibility, gave of herself to enrich the lives of others, and her presence in our community will be greatly missed. And now, therefore, I, Nancy DePrio, Mayor of the City of Diamondhead, along with the City Council, do hereby remember Miss Mary Ellen for her contributions to the City of Diamondhead. And witness thereof, I have unto set my hand and caused the seal of Diamondhead, Mississippi, to be affixed this, the 18th day of January, 2022. We ask you to keep Miss Mary and her friends, her family, in your prayers at this time of her loss. And we can't say enough good about what Miss Mary did here for the city. And civic responsibility is something you shouldn't take lightly, and you should let this woman be an example on how to live your life. Thank you. Our next proclamation is to recognize Coach Jeremy Turcotte. Coach Jeremy Turcotte is a resident of Diamondhead, and I'm going to go on to move the proclamation. So we're recognizing him, and this is something we need to do more often. You know, we should have done this when Miss Mary was alive. Excuse me. So, moving on. And I'm sorry, Jeremy, to get emotional on yours. Let me move on. Whereas the mayor and the city council of the city of Diamondhead wish to publicly acknowledge and congratulate Coach Jeremy Turcotte. And whereas Coach Jeremy Turcotte lives in Diamondhead with his wife Caroline and their two daughters Marley and Ella. And whereas Coach Jeremy Turcotte for the past 20 years has served as an assistant coach for 5 different Mississippi Gulf Coast schools, including Hancock High School. His contributions and investment in youth as a mentor will have lasting impacts on the people his players can and will become. And whereas on January 13, 2020, Jeremy Turcotte was named head coach for the Bay High School football team and led the Tigers with an impressive 8-4 season with 7 of his team all-district and 1 first-team all-state. His commitment to education is exemplified by his team's 3.215 GPA. And now, therefore, I, Nancy DePrio, Mayor of the City of Diamondhead, along with the City Council, do hereby recognize Coach Jeremy Turcotte for his 20 years of coaching and his dedication to our youth. I, witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Diamondhead, Mississippi, to be affixed on the 18th day this month and year. Mr. Jeremy Turcotte, would you please come forward? Do you want mine? Can you come up here and we'll present it to you? Congratulations and thank you for all you do.
Ready? 1, 2, and 3. One more. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Coach.
City Manager's Report, Mr. Michael Russo.
Yes, ma'am. Just to update y'all on, we had some discussion on road cuts. Derek and I have reviewed the interlocal agreement between us and the Diamondhead Water Sewer District. There was specific language in there regarding road cuts. It does clarify that Diamondhead Water Sewage is required to pay for the materials used when they have to cut the road for repairs. I have talked to David, and we'll basically, going forward, get an email to me notifying of any future road cut. I'll create a public works request to document it, which will also then force us to then track it and then we'll turn around and invoice water sewage for any materials that we have in there. The building department's also working with our city attorney to consider updating any ordinance to address any damages to roads caused during the construction of a building. So we'll probably be coming back to y'all with that. And we are looking at any previously cut roads to make sure they're repaired and that we invoice appropriately for that. Diamondhead protected bike lanes. Bert, who is with Orion Planning, is updating the plans. He did send me an email this afternoon, which I forwarded to the council. In order for us to go after federal funds for the project, we are tweaking the plan a little bit compared to having a true multimodal lane, because that would basically drive up our cost and make us follow the true federal guidelines for that. So we're kind of really looking at it two different ways of just having a protected bike lane compared to a true multimodal lane. And there's definition and requirements from federal guidelines. Nancy probably can speak more to it than I can. So that's coming, and we'll begin the process of being able to change our ordinance and putting in things. We're looking at kind of doing it in phases, basically about $50,000 to do a lot of it in-house, putting the signage, painting the grounds, getting the ordinance changed, and then coming back with the full Monty, which is probably looking at $700,000+ to do it complete. So that's why the idea of making sure we can qualify for federal funds is important. And I'm going to turn it over to our city attorney regarding Mdot Roundabout and non-conforming use.
Thank you, Mike. As we know, Mdot's coming, and they're going to put their roundabout in the downtown district there. Very big impact for the city. One of the things that's going on right now is Mdot, through their legal counsel, is negotiating for purchase and acquisition of property to get that roundabout in there. So one of the questions that's come up is what impact will Mdot's acquiring a certain portion of some of these lots, some of these businesses have on those businesses moving forward? Will they in the future then lose their non-conforming status because their setback is not the same as it used to be, or the size of the building, or the number of parking spaces? Those are just a few examples. So I've done some digging. I looked at our zoning ordinance. I've looked at definitions of non-conforming lots and uses and structures, and I've been in touch with legal counsel for Mdot. And I was pointed to a similar situation in Picayune about 3 years ago, where their city attorney kind of had some of the same questions. You know, what kind of assurances can we give to these businesses that if Mdot comes in, purchases some of your land, are you going to lose your non-conforming status? The opinion of that city attorney, it's something, their ordinance is very similar to ours with respect to their definitions and how it works. And I'm in agreement with the opinion that he issued, which was that the acquisition of this, of portions of these properties by Mdot will not destroy the non-conforming designation of these lots. So these property owners will have some assurances that as they negotiate, and Mdot will, as they negotiate, that they can have a final determination. Hey, we're going to take this portion of your property, and you're still good with the city. You're good to, to continue operating the way you have. All these businesses predate the city. The uses of the land predate the city. So they're not envisioning expansion of the uses. They're not going to vacate their use. They're not going to change their use. Those are the types of things that would trigger losing your non-conforming designation, and I don't think any of those apply. So my recommendation is that they will maintain their non-conforming status. We don't need any ordinance change or anything to effectuate that. It's a property right that they have that runs with the land. One thing that I will be coming back to y'all with probably at the next council meeting, we do have what I think is a Scrivener's error in our zoning ordinance with respect to a change in ownership of property. We have one sentence that says a change in ownership will have no effect on non-conforming use. It remains a non-conforming use. So that portion of the property that would be purchased by Mdot would not lose its non-conforming status either. In the very next sentence, there's a word "not" missing, and it says you shall lose your non-conforming use. So it's inconsistent. And it needs to be fixed. It's a Scrivener's error. The word "not" should be in there. So I'll be recommending a text amendment to that, and we'll, Jeannie and I and Mike will initiate that process and get that working. But other than that, my recommendation is that the council will not have to take any further action. They would, in my opinion, they don't lose their non-conforming uses, and I'll be issuing that opinion to whoever needs it.
Thank you both very much. Is there any questions to my left? Any questions to my right?
None.
Councilman Shepherd, you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. And thank you both for all you do. And good to have you back, City Manager. I know you had your battle with COVID, and we're glad to have you back and feeling well. And legal counsel, thank you very much for working with MDOT's attorney and getting that answer, because we don't want our businesses to suffer in any way, shape, or form with them. We want them to thrive from the Exit 16 improvements. Thank you. Is there any public comments on the agenda? Not on agenda. On non-agenda? Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion to approve the January 4th, 2022 regularly scheduled meeting minutes?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Moran. City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Resolution 2022-019. Motion to adopt Resolution 2022-003, thereby accepting the deed of dedication from Capilano Cove Property Owners Association, Capilano Cove, and other related matters. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Marr. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Moran. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? Councilman Shepherd, you have any comments?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Resolution 2021-022, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-004, thereby acquiring the donation from Laurie A. Henry Forts, certain real property for drainage and green space purposes. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Shepherd. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? Councilman Shepherd?
Finley,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Resolution 2022-027, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-006, thereby correcting the FY22 compensation and salary for the building inspector effective January 3rd, 2022. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Marr. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Shepherd. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? Councilman Shepherd?
No.
Finley,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Resolution 2022-028, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-007, thereby authorizing an application to the Mississippi Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and Parks for a recreational grants trail and for other related purposes. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. Any discussion to my left?
No.
Any discussion to my right? Councilman Shepherd?
No, ma'am.
Finley,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 6 through 10?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Claims payable. Could I get a motion to approve the docket of claims DKT 159217, DKT 159240 in the amount of $394,246.62?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Moran. Could I get a second? Second made by Councilman Shepherd. Any discussion? City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Moran.
Yes.
Shepherd. Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Motion to approve payroll payables, APPKT 01644 in the amount of $64,431.77. PR claim 110 in the amount of $29,005.47. PR claim 11 in the amount of $2,696.22. PR claim 112 in the amount of $28,521.79. Could I get a motion?
Move.
So,
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Shepherd. Mar,
Yes.
and Mayor.
Yes. Could I get a motion to approve department reports A and B? Motion made by Councilman Shepherd. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Moran. City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Shepherd. Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. City Clerk, Ms. Jeannie Klein? We have a non-public. Thank you. Mr. Rick Moran?
Yeah, I'm a little new at this.
Hey, Mr. Moran, we have your address. I'll say it for you, 993 Kohler Street,
Yeah, Kaloa.
Kaloa.
Several of the neighbors have asked if we could get a stop sign on Kaloa and Anahulu. We have some speeding trucks out there.
Oh, you need one there.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really bad, and,
Mhm.
I'd ask if they could do something with it.
Was that not one on the list, City Manager?
It was.
It was, and Anahula and Alamona was on there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, that area, I don't know, people tend to get a little rushy in your area.
yeah, we can't even back out of our driveway because it is a curve and a hill, and it goes down, and, I mean, they speeding down there too. If there could be something done, and I talked to the city manager for the
Mhm.
thing.
And I think Captain Gambino had that on the list for Cola, Anahula, and Alamona. Can we check on that, City? We've already authorized those stop signs, so that should not be very difficult to get that accomplished.
Appreciate it, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Moran. Thank you for letting us know.
All right.
And we have Captain Luther back there. He might want to mention that as well.
Yep. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
No, ma'am.
There's no need for executive session. We're
No,
on a
ma'am.
roll here. Okay, well,
doing
thank you
well.
very much. Could I get a motion to adjourn in the memory of Miss Mary Allen? Motion made by Councilman Shepherd. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Moran. City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Moran,
Yes.
Shepherd. Mar,
Yes.
Mayor.